going to discuss regarding the O-level science past paper. This time we are going to take year 2022. So let's go to the paper. Here you can see our O-level past paper, year 2022. So today I'm going to discuss the first 5 questions with the lesson notes, some of the notes that we have to concern when we are finding the answer. So let's move to the first question. What is the organ that mainly performs nitrogenous excretion of human? So here, when you are reading the question, actually you have to concern some of the words here. So the main thing is they are asking about the excretion, and they are talking about the nitrogenous, and then they are asking mainly performs. So mainly performs nitrogenous and excretion. So first of all, you have to select these organs are excretory organs. So when we go through with the answers, kidneys, lungs, skin, and liver. So you can see liver is an organ that we are discussing under human digestive system. So at first we can cut off this answer. So we have 3 more answers, kidney, lungs, and skin. So next I'm going to think about nitrogenous. So nitrogenous means that excretory product should have nitrogen in it. So you know in the lungs, we don't excrete nitrogen. Okay, so we actually excrete carbon dioxide. So when it comes to nitrogenous excretion, so lungs we can cut off here. So now we have 2 answers, 50-50. Right. So kidneys and skin. Next, I'm going to focus on the word called mainly perform. So when we consider about the contents, actually, kidney and the skin. Kidney produce urine and skin produce sweat. So when we see the content and the nitrogen percentage, when we compare this kidney and skin, most appropriate answer is kidney. Because mainly performs nitrogenous excretion of human is kidney. So this is the answer. So you have that sheet. So you have 4 options, 1, 2, 3, 4. Among that 4 option, for the correct answer, you have to cross the first one. Right. Next, move to the second one. Second one, actually, they are talking about the unit of pressure. So at this time, you should know the equation of the pressure. Pressure equal force divided by A. I mean force capital F and divided by A. So in this case, now we have to think what is F, what is A. Now this is the equation actually. So F is refers to force and A is refers to area. So in a unit area, the force acting is we call the pressure. Actually, we are talking about this solid pressure. Now we have another pressure we are talking under our syllabus, liquid pressure. So this is actually we are talking solid pressure. How did I identify that? Okay, so you might think, how did I get whether this is a solid pressure or liquid pressure? So what you have to do is you have to look at these answers, 4 answers. It's about Newton and meters, square meters. So something like that. So liquid pressure actually we know H rho G, height, density, and the gravitational acceleration. But here we don't see any symbol regarding to that. So I can see Newton and square meters. I mean something related to force and the area. So that's why I thought they are going to talk about the solid pressure. So likewise, if you feel like you can't understand the main question, just go through with the answers. Then you can have some idea on the question. Right. Okay. According to this, we have to check on the units. So here we go. The force is measured by Newton and area is measured by square meters. So you don't see any answer like this with the division mark. We can see all the units in same line. So we can put this in already up. So we can take this square meter up. So it comes like -2. So you have to find out the answer in m -2. So we can get the answer as the second according to the theory. Right. Next, we are moving to the third question. What is the type of biomolecules in which hydrogen and oxygen atoms are combined in the ratio of 2:1? Okay, we don't talk much about the ratios in our syllabus. At once when you read this, you will get to know. We are talking only one specific ratio under glucose, actually, C6H12O6. So there we are mentioning hydrogen and oxygen ratio is 2:1. So at once, if you remember those parts, you will remember we are talking this glucose and the carbohydrate. Okay, just to mention you, We have 4 main biomolecules. So all these 4 biomolecules you can see in the answer: carbohydrate, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. But they don't ask just biomolecule. They ask the hydrogen and oxygen ratio. In which biomolecule you will get this hydrogen and oxygen ratio. So lipid and protein, nucleic acid, you don't talk about much there. Okay, just to your knowledge, I will tell you what are the elements present in these 4 biomolecules. Carbohydrate, you can see carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And also lipids, you can see carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And proteins, you have one addition: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and the nitrogen. And then in nucleic acid, more to add: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. So these are the elements present. So carbohydrates we segregate into 3 categories: actually monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. But in this question, they didn't go for further those things. They just ask only the ratio. So your answer should be the first one. Next, we are moving to the 4th one. This is a sentence question. So in a sentence question, to understand what it is, you have to go through all the answers. I mean, you have to, first of all, you have to skim through. I know for sure when you read it first, maybe you don't get the idea what actually they're going to talk about. But the second time when you read it, you will get the idea. Okay, so first we skim through what actually they are going to ask about. Correct statement given about atoms. Now, I like if you just highlight this, because sometimes in the questions, they might ask the correct, they might ask the incorrect. So at that time, you have to keep in mind. So better while you're reading, just underline it. The first one: the nucleus of all the atoms of every element consists neutrons. So in this first question, they are talking about the atoms, and they are talking about every element contain neutrons. Okay, we have to think of that. Second one: in every atom, the number of neutrons and the number of protons. Neutrons and the number of protons in the nucleus are equal. Now they are talking about neutrons, protons in the nucleus are equal. Okay, we'll think of that. Atomic numbers of 2 atoms. 2 atoms, atomic numbers of different elements can be equal. Okay. Let's move to 4th one as well. There may be atoms with different mass numbers in the same element. Now, when you go through these 4 answers, you can see they are going to ask something regarding the elements, neutrons, protons, and also some kind of like isotopes. Another new word, but you didn't see any word called isotope, but it refers to. Okay, we'll go for the first one. Nucleus of all the atoms of every element contain neutrons. Now, I told about the isotopes, right? So in isotopes, mainly, your main example in the syllabus is hydrogen isotope. So we have 3 isotopes: protium, deuterium, and tritium. In the protium, you don't see any neutrons. So we can't tell all the atoms of every element have neutrons, because in hydrogen atom, when it comes to the protium isotope, they don't have neutrons. So we can't tell this sentence is correct. So actually this sentence is wrong. And next, in every atom, the number of neutrons and the number of protons in the nucleus are equal. We know inside the nucleus, neutrons and protons are present, but we can't tell that both the number of neutrons and protons are equal. Sometimes that is equal, sometimes it is different. So we cannot tell it exactly. So this sentence also wrong. The atomic numbers of 2 atoms of different elements can be equal. You know, element, the unique feature is their atomic numbers. That atomic number cannot have for another element. So according to that only the periodic table is built. You know that, right? So atomic number, according to the atomic number, elements are organized in the periodic table. So this never ever can be. So the atomic number is not equal in different elements. So this sentence also wrong. Now almost 3 sentences are wrong. So most probably 4th one can be the correct. We'll see. There may be atoms with different mass numbers in the same element. So elements, when we are writing a standard element, we write the atomic number and the mass number. So atomic number is unique. And when it comes to mass number, we write in the element left-hand side, atomic number at the bottom, mass number at the upper level. So different mass numbers can be, that's what we call actually isotopes. Okay, so isotope means they have the same atomic number, but they have different mass numbers. The best example you have that hydrogen isotopes. So hydrogen have the atomic number is 1, but they have different mass numbers like 1, 2, 3. So there you can understand the same element can have different mass numbers. That's what we call isotope. So the correct answer is the fourth one. So your cross sheet, you have to cross the fourth one. The last question of the day. Right. The fifth one, of the following plant tissues, which is a complex permanent tissues. Now in the syllabus, we are learning about plant tissues and we are learning a kind of a flow chart. But I'm not going to go through with the whole flow chart. I'm talking now because the question asked the complex permanent tissue. So plant tissues can be divided into complex permanent tissue and simple permanent tissues. So simple permanent tissues, we have 3 examples. Complex permanent tissue, we have 2 examples. Okay, so when I tell the examples, some of the examples can be seen in these answers. So you can directly get the answer. Okay, first I come to the simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue, one is parenchyma, the other one collenchyma, and the third one is sclerenchyma. Those are 3 examples for simple permanent tissue. And when it comes to complex permanent tissue, we have 2, xylem and phloem. Now, actually, our question asks complex and the permanent tissue. So, all our permanent tissues, we have to check whether it is a complex or simple. Right. Parenchyma, it's a simple permanent tissue. We have spherical shape cells and collenchyma, and they have very thin cell. Collenchyma, corners of the cell wall are thickened. So, that is also a simple permanent tissue. And sclerenchyma, the whole cell wall is very thick, and also it is considered under simple permanent tissue. Xylem. Xylem, I told there are xylem and phloem comes under complex permanent tissue. So we have xylem here. So that is the answer. So in your cross sheet, you have to put the cross for the 4 for the 5th question. So these are the 5 questions we are going to discuss today. So you can follow the same method when you are doing. So you can recall your syllabus matters according to these questions. So in next video, we will meet from 6 to 10 questions. So until that, have a nice day. Bye.